Yo, what's going
Hey,
on,
man.
my boy?
Haven't seen you for a long time, yo.
Long time, bro. Please come
How's it
in.
going?
Good, great, man. Come in, have a seat.
Very nice, huh, actually, though.
Thanks, man. How was your weekend, bro?
Yeah, very good so far.
Cool.
Love the atmosphere here in this city.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode number 2 of the GameFi chat, where we like to talk with builders in the GameFi space. So today we have my brother Dave, who is actually leading a research team in the GameFi space. So before we get into an introduction about you, Dave, and more about your backstory, we're gonna freshen up your mind with a fun little game here. I have a tricky little puzzle. And basically, we're gonna play a game called 8 Seconds, which is, I'm gonna ask you 8 questions, and you have 8 seconds to answer each question. If you can finish this puzzle before we finish the 8th question, I'm gonna give you 500K VND for you to go spend however you like.
I got the motivation, though.
All right. Now, if you're not able to finish it, you get nothing, unfortunately, except our friendship. All right,
Okay.
you ready for this?
Let's go.
All right, cool, let's do it. So, first question is,
So, okay, start, yeah?
you can go ahead and start. He's got a little head start, but that's all right. All right, are you the type of person who experiences FOMO, and for the audience, that's fear of missing out, or JOMO, which is joy of missing out?
JOMO, though.
Oh, real easy, okay. Name 5 GameFi projects.
Cypher, Essentialand, the Sandbox, Tasumiko, and QChat.
Nice. Are you a risk taker or risk adverse?
Risk adverse.
Oh man, easy. List out 3 reasons that will make you invest in a GameFi project.
The economy, the gameplay, and the community themselves.
How many NFTs do you own right now?
Around 4 or 5 only.
What is the most expensive NFT you ever bought, and how much was it?
Maybe beans. It was around like 0.8 ETH at that time.
What would you do if one day GameFi or crypto did not exist anymore?
I got my hat off the McDonald's and say, "What is your order today, sir?"
Yo, he got it done. You're gonna have a fun weekend, bro. I owe you 500K VND. Nice job. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for those questions. All right, bro. So great job. Before we get started, I did prepare something for us to snack on and something to drink. So I'm gonna go grab that for us, and then we'll get things started.
Sounds great.
All right.
Look forward to it, man. Is it black tea, right?
It is black tea, sir. So if you need a little extra energy, here you go. All right, so have some tea. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today on the chat. So Dave, tell me a little bit about your background, how you got into the GameFi space.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, it's my pleasure to be here with you guys today in the GameFi chat. One of my favorite episodes in YouTube. So yeah, so as most of you already know me before, my name is Dave, aka Dave by Dave. So I'm currently the research lead at Ancient8. Working with the research team to build some very in-depth contents for the people. And regarding the journey in GameFi, so similar to blockchain and cryptocurrency, GameFi to me was initially a bit of the midst of uncertainty and somehow really scary, you know?
Yeah.
When we have like a bunch of click-to-earn games that release on daily basis in the early phases of GameFi, where the user just go there and like click to earn, not really earning, but I would say extracting the tokens from the project without having any significant contribution to the community or even the gameplay itself.
Right.
And then I had the chance to come across a really famous movie called Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I believe that you heard the name before, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Great movie.
So it brought me a lot of inspiration to start researching and diving into the Metaverse and the virtual worlds where the people interact and socialize with each other. We play games that entertain, and even some of the people can earn real world money through the user-generated content.
Right.
So that's why I would like to introduce to you guys today the concept of user-generated content.
Very cool, very cool. So before we get into the topic of user-generated content, I'm a little bit curious to know a little bit more about the research team and kind of what is the objective behind adding this kind of research into the GameFi space. What is the problem that you guys are trying to solve through that?
Yeah, so as you know already, like GameFi is still in the early phases of itself. We haven't had any research hub on the place that provide the knowledge for the people to enter the space, because Web3 is not really easy for people to observe. So therefore, we would like to build a research hub that provide the user with in-depth analysis and provide our self-evaluation into the research, so that the Metaverse citizens, they can have a really thorough understanding towards so that they can have the ability to judge whether this project is good or not, so that they can decide how to invest and play the game within the Metaverse.
Yeah, I think that's really important and definitely necessary in the space right now, because we're definitely at the brink of needing more information to help not just investors, but players make more informed decisions before they jump into economies, right? Because the idea of game economies is not that new, but on the blockchain it is. So there's more information that needs to bridge the gap there. So it seems that you guys are doing that. That's really awesome. So tell me a little bit more about like traditional user-generated content.
So for your information, user-generated content is not that, how can I say, like, not that far away from the people. It's actually really popular in the traditional field since 2005 already. So you can easily catch and see user-generated contents within the familiar platforms like Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, etc., and even in the video games in the traditional fields. So the formats of user-generated contents are not limited, but actually really diverse. So it can exist under videos, images, GIFs, text, and even in video games that exist under the in-game characters and the maps itself. So I feel like in traditional gaming, UGC is really important. It's kind of like the catalyst that to bootstrap the entertainment value of the people when they play the games in traditional field. And how do you see that kind of changing in the world of Web3? What is going to be some of the changes that you predict for Web2 gaming, user-generated content, and Web3 generated content? So I think so as to address this question, I think we need to step back a bit to look at how UGC evolved in Web2 in the beginning. So in the early ages, we only see some of the typical formats of UGC in Web2 gaming. Firstly is the modification, or you can call it, that one is the mods. Like the people, I would call them the user, they just independently and unofficially modify the software so that they can customize the in-game characters and even the gameplay. But that one is without the involvement of the official game publisher or the gaming studio behind.
Right.
So therefore, once they evolve, there are some gaming studio, they start to have the software, they start to build the software for the user to actually have the ability to directly customize the in-game characters and the in-game modes by themselves and officially. And some of them even provide you the built-in distribution channel for these kind of contents.
I see.
And another interesting one is like that called Machinina. That is allowed you to make some animated contents based on the existing characters and the gameplay within the game.
Okay, and are they one of the first to actually do that, to open source this for the players to start to create their own experiences? Yeah, awesome. And now in Web3, who is doing that?
So so Web2, one of the most famous one that did that successfully was Roblox and Minecraft, and even Warcraft 3 World Editor. You guys are familiar with that, I think. And then in Web3, we have some of the prominent names, for example, like the Sandbox or Decentraland. They are one of the pioneers in the space that start implementing that technology. But for me, like it is still in a infancy phase. Yeah, so we still have a lot of ideas and technologies that can, how can I say, to expand the boundaries even further.
Right.
Yeah.
And I presume in the past that people that were creating this sort of content, there wasn't any monetary incentive, I guess, to do so, or was there any monetary incentive to mod different games? Was the user able to monetize that in any way in the past versus how they can monetize it now in Web3?
Yeah. So let's take a look at the how big is the revenue and the market from user-generated content games that generate in the past. So one of the pioneer that I just mentioned for you is Roblox.
Yes.
So they are one of the biggest company in the world. Currently, one of the according to one of the data that I just collected yesterday, I saw that currently the Roblox has around 9.5 million game developers on the platform.
Wow.
Together with 43.2 million of the daily active users that generate a lot of the money for them. So that's why the company is currently positioned as one of the top 450 most valuable project or company in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
And the other one is Minecraft. So they are up to now, they have been selling over 200 million copies for the games themselves. So that is a really considerable amount of money for the game publisher and gaming studio, right?
Yes.
But however, there are some issues that we face nowadays on the user-generated content games. One of them could be, you can see like, even though most of the contributor that contribute to the robustness of the ecosystem of user-generated games are the content creators and the user, right? However, currently the revenue just only comes into the wallets of mostly the game publisher and the gaming studio. So that is one of the problems that not just only affects the user experience on the platform, but also that set the limits for the game themselves to expand even further. Because you can see like the user, they don't have the motivation to develop the content further, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that is one of the issues that I can really obviously observe.
Yeah.
And the other issues that for example, you're playing Roblox, right? And just imagine like one day the game collapsed, and then how do you feel about the content that you just put a lot of effort and time inside, right? Yeah. That is really struggling for you to have that feeling.
Yeah, definitely. So with the blockchain, is the blockchain a solution for that? So is it allowing and motivating the players now to create more content because there is this hash that is transacting and basically keeping track of how the players are incentivized through the creation of these different modifications of these games? Is it solving that problem specifically, would you say?
Yeah. So I mean, like Web3 actually is not. I don't consider that one is just a solution, but also a catalyst that also expand the boundaries for UGC games to evolve even further within the future development landscape. So yeah, for example, like blockchain, because we store the ownership on chain. So and that one is also really transparent. So that's why we can ensure the actual ownership of the user over the data and the content that they put a lot of effort and time within the platform.
Right.
Yeah. And the second solution that blockchain offer to UGC is the tradability, because like they store the contents under the NFT formats, right? So the NFT formats can be not just on the images, but also videos, music, and even like the in-game characters and the gameplay themselves on it as well.
Yeah.
So that one facilitates the user to approach a really significantly easier monetization models for them. So because of that, they offer a lot of motivation for them, not just only doing that for fun, but also for monetization. And then we will see a lot of professional gaming studio will enter the space as well. We have been seeing that within the Decentraland, right?
Yeah.
A lot of professional gaming studio, they start with a really professional swag of the how can I say, the virtual world architect.
Yes.
Yeah, they can start to design the content inside.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Everybody wants to have the opportunity to be the next big platform like a Minecraft in the Web3 space. Now, what's really interesting about that is there was actually just some news recently that Minecraft is kind of not allowing blockchain capability, and that's really an interesting move by such a huge company that you think would have such a big head start, and it kind of seems like it makes sense in every way that they would integrate the blockchain somehow because they are a market leader, but instead they've chosen to go against that and kind of leave that open for another platform to take its place. Is there any platform that you think is kind of the market leader right now in terms of allowing user-generated content?
For me, like personally, I think I think your question is like the current existing Web2 company, they would like to enter the Web3 landscape, right?
Yeah, so it's up to you. Do you think that there's a Web2 company that's positioned better right now to become the market leader? Or do you think that there's a Web3 game right now that is positioned to be the market leader because they're in Web3 already?
Yeah, so from my perspective, I believe that the current Web2 games, the UGC ones, they have a really solid user within the platform already.
Right.
Like most of them are traditional gamers. So as to transfer into Web3 is kind of really difficult for them. So I think the move they would like to take is to build a total project within Web3 from the beginning. Not just like applying the blockchain technology to the current product, because that one is really risky. Otherwise they lose a lot of the current user. So I think one of the appropriate move for them is to build and invest in another world that builds from scratch within the Web3 gaming landscape.
It's a touchy subject at this point in where blockchains are because of the market condition, as well as because of scams and things of that nature. There are many companies that could position themselves to be a market leader, but it is a little bit of a risky play. So I'm totally in agreement with you there. I think that probably one of the best moves is for them to build up a separate brand and really try to build that trust with the user base from there. All right, well, that's really, really interesting, and it's really great to see that there is opportunity for other market leaders to come in the space and develop. And I, as a creator myself, I love to see a world where the players are now motivated to be creators of experiences inside the game. I think it's only going to allow these games to continue to develop and evolve into things we could have never imagined if we just counted on the team of that company to build it out. Now the whole space gets a chance to build it out. So that's really cool. Random question here. Are you participating in any kind of way in any user-generated content platforms?
Yeah, currently not really, but there's some projects that I'm pointing at right now. Which is because firstly, I would like to tell like the Metaverse is not really something like it has to be 3D. It still can also exist within 2D or pixel. So one of the project that I really pay attention to, which is Tatsumiko. Because we talk a lot with Tatsumiko and other Metaverse and project already. So we feel like Tatsumiko is one of the prominent one because they prioritize the community value, the values of affiliation, belonging, and self-actualization, rather than the current financial motivation for the user to get onto the platform. So I really appreciate the effort to do so.
I've heard that they're tremendous community builders, and the fact that they're building on community built platforms such as Discord, I think also they've already established an incredible user base that really loves them there. So I'm also watching that project and very excited to see what else they do. You know what,
like for other projects, they actually use the play to earn mechanics so as to onboard the user onto the platform. But Tatsumiko is another way, because Tatsumiko has already have a really tremendous user base already, so they don't need to spend a lot of money for the play to earn mechanics so as to onboard the new user. So that help them to relieve a lot of the how can I say, the financial pressure onto the token themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why they can have a lot more free space, so to play around with the token utilities and the in-game economy themselves.
Yeah, that's kind of a dream position to be in. A lot of projects would like to have that positioning, but yeah, it's definitely great when you kind of take the economics out of it and allow them to really focus on the gamification of the project. Yeah, it's a very unique position. All right, I want to go ahead and play one more game with you. We're having like a game day here today. So the next game is underrated, overrated. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you just let me know if you think that this is currently, and this is just currently, it doesn't mean that it can't change later, but currently, do you think this thing is underrated or do you think it's overrated?
All right.
All right, this will be fun.
Currently only, yeah.
Currently only. All right. Is live streaming content for Web3 gaming currently underrated or overrated? Underrated for sure. Underrated.
Yeah.
Give me just a little bit why you think so.
Well, because most of the games are still in the developing phases, so that we don't have the actual gameplay that we can test it out. So yeah, still have a lot of things to do in the future. And currently I see like the Ancient8 esports team, they have a lot of preparation for that, so that we can get ready and start to provide a lot of useful and entertaining content to the user whenever the gameplay is released.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Sometimes I go on Twitch and I'm even watching some small Web3 creators, and their streaming content is excellent, but the view numbers are just not there in comparison to Web2 games. So I would also say underrated, but it'll get there. Is the amount of earnings an average player can make from user-generated content currently in Web3 underrated or overrated?
Currently underrated, because most of the contests are for the professional user only. Yeah. And then we are still having a lot of developments that can be implemented within the roadmap of the project themselves. Yeah. So we will see in the future, we have a lot of opportunities for all of the users to get onto the board.
All right. Is Web3 gaming content currently underrated or overrated?
Currently, I would say underrated.
Still underrated,
yeah. So that's why we decided to go with our research portal.
Yep, definitely. The space needs more content. Are GameFi NFTs from big brands like Nike and Adidas underrated and overrated? And do you hope to see more or less of this in the future?
For me currently, I feel like that is a bit overrated. Yeah. For me, for the Metaverse is something that really can target to the mass audience rather than a solid group of users. So I hope to see less of the hype from the top tier brands like Nike and Adidas.
Yeah, awesome. And in GameFi, we have play to earn and we have move to earn. Is there a concept of watch to earn for a user-generated content platform? Is that idea underrated or overrated?
That idea is currently underrated for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because watch to earn provides a lot of insights and a lot of values for the people, not just only for the user themselves, but also for the Metaverse at the whole. Because when the user, they have enough knowledge, and then everything they do that contributes to the development of the whole ecosystem of the Metaverse. Yeah. So, but currently we don't have that much of the content for education. So that's what I hope to see more in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I think right now, when the way that things are structured, the creator has an opportunity to benefit, but if there is a platform where the user, the fan base, and the creator both simultaneously have some sort of incentive, that of course will make a whole lot of sense if they can make that work. So that'll be really exciting. All right, brother. So that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much again for joining us here on GameFi Chat. And I definitely hope to catch up with you again real soon.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, bro.
Take
care, man. Thank you for watching the video, and now we have a quiz question for you. Which Web3 project did Dave think was doing the best job with developing their organic community user-generated content? A. Roblox, B. Tatsumiku, C. Sandbox, D. All of the above. Please answer by commenting right below the video with the syntax your answer _ your Discord username _ a lucky number from 1 through 99. A gift of 10 BUSD will be given to one person who has the correct answer and has a lucky number close to the number that Ancient8 has chosen. Responses will be recorded within 1 day from when this video airs. Results will be announced in Ancient8's next video. Good luck!